Hello brothers and sisters, welcome to another episode here on Dangerous African Confessions HD. In this episode, we have another confession from our brother. And in this confession, he reveals to us a very shocking story of his life. He is so much in pains for what he has done and wants to end it all. Without taking much of your time, let us go and listen to what our brother do have for us in this episode. Before we go on, if you're new here, please do us this favor and subscribe to the channel, and please do share and like our videos. Kindly hit the notification bell so you will be the first to get notification to our videos when we upload. Hello brother, I really do have some things on my chest and mind to share with you. Something that is eating me up all this while. I wanted someone to talk to, and I decided to share my pain with you. I have had my own fair share of deceit from friends, and it has cost me greatly. Something I have never imagined I could do in my life. I didn't grow up with my father in my life as any other child would wish to have. Even though he was rich, he never really paid attention to us. We are 3 children by our mother and father. But then, I don't know what happened that they got separated, because it happened whilst we were just young, and didn't know much about it. He got married to another woman and he has also another 3 children with her too. That is not or was not an issue. Because, it is his life to live. And if you will marry, with the children that you have brought to the world, you must be able to do what is needful for us. And it wasn't as if he did not have any money. But then, our lives were as if we didn't have any father, and we came to this world just by our own self. My mother used to run this one shop, and it is from this shop that after their divorce, she catered for us from there. She used to sell rice and other cooking products. It wasn't a wholesale business that she was running, but rather a retail shop. So, because we were eating from the same shop and all that, how the shop used to be, was coming down gradually. I am not here to say something for people to really understand why I did what I did. But, it was during what happened to me, that I realized that, a whole lot of young guys are getting themselves into things that ordinarily they wouldn't have. I have struggled to understand why as a father, or as someone who you know very well that, you together with a woman brought a child or children into this world. And because of your misunderstanding, you take a decision to neglect the children, who has nothing or no knowledge about why you might be fighting with your wife or their mother. Why should your problems with their mother affect the children? Please, when you see people involved in some acts that you see them to be wrong, just take your time before judging them. It might be that they got to a point where they felt there was no hope, and didn't know what to do next. And that was the only thing they could think of. In Africa, what I have seen in my small years of living is that we always want to solve problems by attacking the problem. Instead of we attacking the root of that problem, we focus on the results and not the root cause of it. Let me not deviate from my story. So because of this situation that we did find ourselves in, I decided to embark on a journey to try and find something meaningful to do with my life. That is what gave birth to me relocating to the city in the first place. I wanted to do something to help the family that I loved so much. They were my everything, and I would do anything to have a smile on their faces. So, it was this friend of mine who was also in our hometown with me, that we decided that we will move to the city together to fight for our breakthrough. I remember that very day that we decided to embark on this journey. Looking back, it seemed funny, but that particular moment in time, to us, it was something crucial and necessary to do. We boarded the vehicle that was coming to the city without knowing anything, anyone, nor any place that we were going to. We just had some money and that was it. We got to the last stop of where the car was heading in the city. And that when the maid told us that, it was their last stop. We got down without knowing what to do nor where to go. That night, we did spent it at the station. The next morning, when the day was breaking, one man came and woke us up to move from the place because they were coming to start work. So, without any destination, we did carry our bags and we started walking as you would have guessed. It was just a useless walk that we did that day. Because we actually didn't know anyone nor place that we were going. So, my friend brought an idea that we should go back to the station and tell whoever would care to listen to our story that we were in the city to look for work to do. So, we came back to the station and met one man who looked like he was one of the elders at the station. And so, we approached him and told him our mission. After about a lengthy conversation and trying to get to know us, he told us that he also got to the city in a similar manner, and so he understood our story. He told us that, for the time being, no one will actually give us any place to sleep nor stay because you cannot just trust anyone just like that. What he did for us was that, he gave us the chance to be sleeping under one of the shades they have provided at the station when they close from work. Now, that place became our sleeping place for close to 2 weeks. One evening, when the man was about to go home, he told us that he has talked with his colleagues at the station to allow us to be a part of the boys that do load the vehicles at the station. That was how we started doing that work at the station as loading boys. We did this for a while, and I had a serious discussion with my friend about the need to find something different to do. So, we all took a decision to become a mate for some of the drivers. And the person that agreed to have me as his mate was such a very good man. I did the mate work for about a year or so, during which I took the opportunity to learn the driving skills, which eventually got me to meet these guys who I never knew were going to lead me into something that I cannot live to enjoy the rest of my life in happiness. What happened was that, my boss that I was his mate, after making sure that I was perfect when it came to driving, pushed me to get a driver's license. When I got the license, he told me that he has a friend who has bought a saloon car and wants someone to use for Uber. He said he wants me to go and have that car, because I cannot be a driver's mate for the rest of my life. I should also grow to become someone. I became a driver myself by the help of this man. It was during my time as the Uber driver that I met some guys who ordered my Uber. During that trip, they kept on talking about money, and the kind of money that they had in the bag that they were carrying was scary. When we got to their destination, one of them gave me his number that I should call him because there are times they don't feel like driving and need someone to drive them around. And so, I should call them, for them to use me as their Uber driver whenever they need one. That day, even with the charge that they were supposed to pay, they doubled the amount for me. That was how I got to know these guys. I never knew they were into money rituals. The one that gave me his number seemed to be very cool and down to earth. Not knowing he is richer than the other two. When I got close to them, the things I saw these people do, the kind of parties they were organizing, and the monies that they were just spending like that, I wished I was the one having such money. The things that I could have used that money for, only God knows. That was what I always tell myself when I was around them. Because there was no single day that I got close to them that they didn't spend money. I was like, how come these guys spend so much money like that? How and where are they getting that money from? That one among them that I said is richer called me one day and we had a long conversation about life in general. After I had brought him home from a trip we went to. This was when I told him about why I came with the city to look for something good for myself and my family, after my father had neglected us. He told me about his upbringing, which was also similar to mine. And so, he told me that he would want to help me but don't know how ready I was. Because the journey he wants me to take is not easy but is worth it. I told him not to worry because I know all about taking risks. I was thinking that journey was just a normal journey. Little did I know that he wanted to reveal a very deep secret to me. And so I continued with my work as the Uber driver until my car owner started having issues with me. I was to work for 2 years, and when after I have been able to give him the money he quoted for me, the car would become mine. But just after a year and 2 months, that was when he started giving me problems here and there. There wasn't just a week or some few days that I never had an issue with him. So I took a decision to give him his car and go to the guy for him to help me out. This is how I carried my own self into something that will go a long way to hurt my family. I went to the guy and we had a conversation about how I wanted him to show me the way as he made me aware. He also promised to help me. At this time I had lost contact with my friend. So in all this, he was not aware and part of. Come to think of it now, I know deep within me that, if we still had that connection or contact, I know this for a fact that he would have asked me to stop. He wouldn't even allow me to go meet the guy in the first place. That was how they arranged with me to go see his spiritualist to also help me. I asked him what does the things he will be doing to help me with entails. He told me he cannot say for me. Because every work and every person always has a different thing that he or she must do. So, we went to see this man who, if I am not mistaken, will be around 70 to 80 years thereabout. He looked at me for a while and told me that life is all about sacrifice and risk-taking. If you fear to take risk, don't ever dream of making money in your life. We did a lot of consulting with the spirits to see what should be done for me. So, it was around 5 p.m. when the man finally told me that my request or the reason for me coming to see him has been granted. And that reason was for him to help me, just as he has helped the guys. My whole idea for doing this once again was for my family. This was to wipe their tears away. So the man told me that the spirit wants me to make a sacrifice of blood. And therefore, he told me to go and buy a sheep and 3 doves for the sacrifice. The guy who took me there helped me get the animals. The next day, the sacrifices were done for me. The sheep, after killing it and doing whatever there was for him to do, he cooked portion of it for me to eat. After everything, he gave me a lotto number for me to stake. He told me the exact day that I was to stake that number. He advised that, even if I don't have money, I should borrow to stake it big. Because that will be the genesis of my wealth. When we returned, the guy asked me if I do have enough money to stake the numbers. I told him the amount that I have and he added some to it for me. He told me that, whatever I feel like doing, I should ask him so we can contact the man before I go ahead with it. So, when the day that the man asked me to stake the number came, I did just that. That day I didn't go anywhere, and so I slept. I woke up and checked the winning numbers, and I had one. I had won for myself 360,000 Ghana cedis from just one stake. That day, I couldn't sleep. That was the genesis of my money, and at the same time, the genesis of my pains. Exactly a week after I had won that money, I had the most unfortunate news from my brothers. I was told that my mother had died. I asked them if she was sick. They told me there was nothing wrong with her when they went to bed. Only for them to wake up that morning to see her dead. I told the guy that took me to the man about the death of my mother, and my plans of going to my hometown. He told me that we needed to visit the man before I go to my hometown. Apparently, he knew that it was my mother that had been sacrificed for my money, but didn't want to tell me himself. So, when we were at the man's place, that was when he told me that I was not to cry for 2 days. I asked why I can't cry over the death of my mother for 2 days. He told me that I made a choice to make a sacrifice, and during the time of the sacrifice, I had my mother at heart, and that is why she was chosen to be sacrificed for me to get money. So, I am the cause of my mother's death. The guy tapped my shoulder and told me that he was sorry. I threw his hands away, and went back into the car we came in with. He came to the car and he drove back to his place. I couldn't control my emotions. That day, I cried and cried till I couldn't even hear my voice again. I will never forget that day. The day I was told I was responsible for my own mother's death. The person, who is the main reason why I had gone for the money, I ended up using her as a sacrifice for that same money I was looking for. Please my people, I don't know who might be listening to me. I know we are all struggling for money one way or the other. But never let someone take you to a place that you don't have knowledge of. Because anything is possible in this world. That is how I ended up using my own mother that I loved so much for money rituals. Don't forget to please subscribe, share and like our videos. Kindly hit the notification bell so you will be the first to get notification to our videos when we upload. These are not just stories for story's sake. They are meant for us not to make these mistakes our brothers and sisters are making. That's why we share these stories with you. Just see how our brother who loved his mother so much unknowingly used her for what he wanted. I will say that, life indeed is something that no one can predict. And you can't even seem to understand what life is all about. I honestly wish the youth of these days will listen to some of the important lessons in these stories that we share. You see, I will say that, having ambitions in life is all good. And wanting to go the extra mile for the loved ones in our lives is also good. But always have it at the back of your mind that you will not let that ambition destroy you making wrong decisions. The world indeed is heading to a place where morals are lost in our society. And the only thing that matters to us more is the love for money, which almost always makes us make wrong decisions. Because when it happens that way, always the results, or the decisions that we take, most at times are flawed. And it goes a long way to turn and then come back to hurt us. When you have a dream or ambition, work towards it gradually, till you become master of your vision. I just hope that we honestly take the important lessons from these stories to better our lives and decisions. Stay blessed and be safe. Thanks for being a part of this growing family. Kindly share your thoughts with us in the comment section below. And if you are new here, please subscribe, like and share.